We don't celebrate when we finish.
We don't celebrate when we finish. And that's what I was telling the beautiful queens that joined me in that call. It's like, when we don't celebrate enough of the little things that we have, because it could be something so small. This is Vivian Villacis.
And this is Raul Villacis.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast. My name is Raul Villacis, and I'm here with my beautiful queen.
Yes, Vivian Villacis.
It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks since we are back into the show. So thank you if you're watching us from Facebook. Just make sure you give us a comment. Let us know where you're watching us from. If you're watching us from YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you watch hearing from us on the podcast, just subscribe to the podcast. Give us some feedback. Give us a rating. Every week we come to you. At least we try to come every week. We've been consistent. I think we've consistently been doing weekly shows.
We've been consistent, but there's been a lot happening in the last 2 weeks. I know you had a lot of stuff happening, so
this is the catch up. We're gonna catch up.
We're gonna do like a quick recap, right?
So right now, we are breaking into the summer. Right, May is gonna start. It's around the corner, and it's a lot of activities. You can't wait, man. This has been a long winter.
Yes,
the virus really put us in a place. It's been a long winter.
And you could actually start to feel the transition now of like the weather and the kids finishing up school. I think it's like, we were really waiting for all of this.
I think everybody's waiting for all right, they want the summer to be here. They want the weather to change. They want the masks to go off, and without getting into the political stuff, it's just good to see people around. It's just good to see people outside and being less stressed out.
We're made for that. Like just having that connection with people. It feels so nice. Like to see, we're not, granted, we all wear masks when we're outside, but when you sit down and you actually get to see somebody's face, it even feels weird because you've been wearing all this mask all this time. And all of a sudden when somebody takes off a mask, it's like, oh, there's your face.
And with that said, I think relationships have been affected dramatically through the pandemic. And we always talk about how the hardest thing for us to work on is our relationship. I think business it's an easier game, but relationships is where everybody struggles with.
Yeah.
So in this episode, what we're going to talk about is, one, I want to hear what happened in your challenge.
Okay.
You have a challenge coming up that just finished. I have a challenge that's coming up. And when we talk about challenges, we have the 6 days challenge with our customers. I have a 7-day challenge coming up with my guys. So tell us what did you learn? You just finished a 6-day challenge. What was the 6-day challenge for?
It was a 6-day challenge to go from frustration to connection. And I think it was really great because, we didn't think it too long. We just decided to okay, how do we put more information? How do we get our message out there? How do I get my message out there? Because I did it by myself, along with Cindy's help and with your help, of course, and the team. But for me, it was great because I really had to put myself out there with 6 days, consecutive days. And let me tell you, I learned so much just from, the fact that for me especially, when I try to do something by myself, yes, I do it, but it's kind of I really have to motivate myself and I have to push myself. It's kind of I do it all by myself, right? And it feels so different to have this challenge. And I was playing full out. So even for me to be committed on this 6 days, I saw the sense of how things could change if you have a community to help you through it, one. And if you have a plan, a vision, which is something that we often talk about. And I think that's one of the biggest things that the reason why we feel so frustrated, especially right now, I'm starting a new coaching program coming May and just kind of, building, right? So then I keep asking the women all these questions and I ask myself, and a lot of the things keeps coming back to we feel so frustrated. We are so frustrated and we're so filled with anxiety and with, anger. And then we feel so disconnected. We feel so disconnected from ourselves and we feel so disconnected from our partners, which was one of the biggest things. So now in this 6-day challenge, it's kind of just a little bit, a glimpse of what it could be if you allow yourself in this 6 days to challenge yourself to go from day 0 to day 6 of how do we make that change? How do we shift? So for me, one of the biggest takeaways was to know that when you have someone that's committed to helping you through the vision, how it's so much easier. And how, I was telling the girls, I'm like, I can't guarantee you that things are going to get better because we don't know. We have no control of things, but I could almost guarantee you that something will change because you have control of you. So I could guarantee you that you will change. I can't guarantee you that situations will change.
But I think that's where we all want the guarantee. Like, tell me, what do I need to do in order for me to change, or give me the guarantee, or tell me this, everything's going to be okay. I think that a lot of us, we miss the point of a challenge. I was talking to Abigail.
You missed the point of the challenge?
My little girl, she's 14 years old. She's full on feminine energy. And she was telling me that, like, I feel frustrated, I feel angry, I feel depressed. And, she was having a little fight with her friend.
Okay.
And when I sat down with her and I was putting her to sleep, and I said, babe, it's okay. You don't always have to be happy. She goes, I want to go back to the little girl that I used to be before. I want to go to the time where I used to smile all the time. I used to be happy all the time. I said, we all change. We all change. We all evolve. And I said, right now you're becoming, from a little girl, you're becoming a young woman. And this is what you have to embrace. You have to embrace the change.
Yeah.
I think we fight that change. We want things to stay the same. We want guarantee that things are going to stay the same, but the only guarantee is that things are going to change. That's the only thing that we guarantee in life, that things are going to change and we're going to pay taxes. And
okay.
And that's
what we have. Those two things, like we can't work around, like we could work around it, but we can't pretend that they're not there. Like it's always going to happen. So she has this cute little octopus that we got when we went to the city. And I love it because it's like a double-sided type of octopus, and one side is happy and one side is mad or sad, whichever one she wants to look at it. And every time I tell him, like, those two emotions are like just two of the emotions, right? Like all these emotions that we have, and some days are going to be happy, some days are going to be sad. If we make either one wrong, then that's when we feel like this, I'm not supposed to feel this way. So I think a lot of the time too, what I saw is like we feel frustrated. And I know I felt in the past when I think that a situation or my feelings have to be a certain way towards you or with my kids or whatever it is, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And whatever situation you're in, it's like you only have control of you. And I think a lot of the women got to see that, like a glimpse of what that is like. And I forgot what else I was going to say. I was thinking about something else in the challenge, but I loved it. I love the fact that we finished strong. We celebrated. That was another thing that, we don't celebrate enough. We don't celebrate enough the challenges. Like when we put ourselves through a challenge, we don't celebrate.
We don't celebrate when we finish.
We don't celebrate when we finish. And that's what I was telling the beautiful queens that joined me in that call. It's like, when we don't celebrate enough of the little things that we have, because it could be something so small. And if we celebrate it, then it's kind of like, there's new highways in our mind, in our brain, in our hearts that are created. So it's like, now we could go back through that highway, like, this is how I felt. This is how, like, I felt accomplished and proud. So then I could go back to that. And I think we don't create that enough. We get so hung up. We get so attached to like the feelings of frustration and anger that we get stuck on that.
Because everything is energy. I was telling, we were in a mastermind calls this week, and I was telling the guys, like, the one thing that we have to appreciate is the community that we build in. I think that we talk about proximity being power. And I remember when I was going through my dark tunnel, I was alone. I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. I felt like I was the only one going through the situation. But when I started joining a community of people, like-minded people that said, hey, man, you're not the only one that's fucked up. Yeah. You're the only one who's challenges. You're not the only one that is under stress.
Yeah.
We kind of feel normal. We feel like a sense of, okay, I guess I'm not the only one. So therefore, I'm going to find a solution, because if this person is able to overcome that problem, then I'm able to find a solution as well.
And that's the beautiful thing, that we get to find that courage to share, because I think a lot of the times when we get stuck on, like you feel so much shame about telling your story. You feel so much shame about what you're going through and all this like anger and all this frustration that you're feeling. I'm just talking about this now because that's all these things that are coming through from my challenge. Like if you feel that your story didn't matter or you don't share it, then you feel that you're alone. But the moment that you share, and that's what I tell the woman too, is like that's what I felt, because that's what the part that I love the most, when I started to share my story of how I felt in my marriage in the past, how we felt like, we were not loving each other in the right way. And when I shared all those things, then other women came forth and said, like, I feel exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel alone. But it's having that permission to share, so other people, and so almost like you could hear it out loud and say, like, well, I'm not alone. Or it's so beautiful.
And that just brings the authenticity to the training. Because even though I always say to my guys, like, even though I'm training and I'm coaching and I'm bringing some of this framework, I learn at the same time, and I re-anchor the belief, and it kind of fortifies the training. So I encourage every single person, you learn something and teach it. You learn something and give it away. I think a lot of us, what we need to do is to share. I was talking to one of my clients this morning. I said, like, sometimes we are afraid to say things because we think it's not original from us, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to repeat this because somebody else said it. Well, I don't want to say this because it doesn't come from me. It doesn't matter. It's coming through you. So whatever is coming through you have to say, you have to speak it.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to touch with your message. So, and one thing that I saw, I'm so proud of the way that you were just amazing. 6 days, every single day showing up for those women, every single day, like really giving the training. And I was just amazed to see the growth. I was amazed to see how flawless it was coming through. Because I remember, the times where you couldn't even speak on stage for like 5 minutes. So you get so nervous.
Or just like even sharing stuff that I was going through, like, oh my gosh. So I sat with a friend yesterday, and she said to me, one of the first things she said to me, she was like, Vivian, thank you for sharing everything that you've gone through with Raul, because it's helped me so much, one. And two, she was like, from like, I think it was 7 years that she came to your first event, because she was in the first event. She said, you were so shy. You were so shy. You were so like, just so internal and so into like the shyness and just not even like wanting to look at me. And now you're just sharing and you're loving a woman. She was like, I cannot believe like the woman that you are. And I said, it all has to do with really God giving me the strength to know like what do I have to say has helped me. So why would I keep that back? So that belief, like, it really sunk into me. Like, I know all these women that came into the call, and I wish there was more, because that's another thing. Like, I kept saying to myself, like, we invited so many women to come to this challenge and not everybody showed up. And at the beginning, I was like, part of me is mad, part of me is angry, part of me is like, like, I wish I could get you all here, but I know that
the ones that are called to be there are going to be there.
And
that's, it's a numbers game at the reality. Everybody wants to go to the next level. Everybody wants to grow.
And it takes work.
The commitment is what needs to show up.
And I told them that, like, our marriage has changed. It's shifted just from the fact that we invest money, energy, and time into this marriage. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. We've been doing this for, I don't even know, like, I lost count of how many years we've been really working on ourselves, working on each other. So it was just like, me showing up and me talking through this 6 days. It's one, is effortless because this is something that I do every day. Like, this is the way that I live now. But it was just so beautiful to see that other women want to save their marriages, want to save themselves. And at the end, I was like, yes, God, like, this is the reason why I'm here. Like, you put me here because I need to continue to share my message.
And just think about, if you didn't step into your message, if you didn't step into your truth, like, how many women would not hear that message from you? And I think they believe that we have sometimes like, oh, we are not good enough, right? We're not good enough to do this. Who am I to do this? And I know I had those beliefs when I started 7 years ago and training and coaching and speaking.
Yeah.
That it's just that imposter in your head that is always trying to tell you to play small. This weekend I went to Colorado. I worked with one of my coaches, Danny Epstein, and we talked about energy work, right? Yeah. And one of the things that he said is that you have to step into that version of you that's already been there. People ask, Raul, why do you go to get training? Why do you go to seminars? Like, because you always have to be a student of the game. If you want to master something, you always have to learn. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's one thing, one insight I get, knowing what I know, I'm going to make it 10 times more impactful. If if I have the right intention. So
I do the same thing. Like I love to learn something new every day. And learning something new sometimes comes from, the internet. But I think we also forget how our kids, how the people that we love could teach us something. And that's been one of like my greatest teachers. And I always say that like you have been one of my greatest teachers. There's times that I've wanted to like choke you, but that in itself has been a lesson. And for my kids too, like they say the sweetest things or they say the most profound things. And it's like, if you're not listening to those things, then you miss it. You miss it. But learning is so important.
And you have to continue. That it never stops. You have to continue. So if you're listening to this podcast and right now maybe you think that you already arrived, you already made it, you already have all the things together, like that's the most dangerous place to be. I think that if you're in a place where you stop learning, you stop growing, that's what businesses fail. That's what marriages fails, because one person decides that, okay, we're good. I was talking to a guy the other day. He says, Raul, like, I want to hire you. I want to be part of your program because I'm comfortable. He's making more money than ever. He has more connection with his wife than ever, but he knows that there's always a next level.
Right.
And I said, you're better off than 99% of the people out there, but at 1% that you know inside that you need to get to, that is what's going to give you the edge. And I think that a lot of men and women need to start looking at their lives and say, okay, what's my next level? Where do I need to go from here? Because if you start staying comfortable, especially now, the country's going to start opening up. We're going to get into a better mood, better situations. Yeah. You can't forget what we've been through the last year. You can't forget, like now it's time for you to double down,
so quick to forget.
not to dwell on the past, learn from the past and plan out your next move. Plan out what are you going to do now? What's the opportunities? How can I connect deeper? What can I do in my business? Yep. How can I get in better shape? You never know, like this virus could turn into another virus. It could be, it could be another pandemic, It doesn't matter what happens. Now is the time that you double down and you become the storm. Actually, we're preparing for our leadership summit. That's going to be in 2 weeks.
That's right.
So we also having a challenge. I'm doing a 7-day challenge. I'm training men for 7 days every single day. So I'm going to ask my team to put in the comments here.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
The 7-day challenge. So Daniel, if you could put the 7-day challenge link in there. So if you're listening to this podcast, we're going to put this in the notes. If you're listening and watching this in YouTube, we're going to put it in the comments. If you're watching us in Facebook, we're going to put in the link. But it's called the 7-day challenge to get you edge back. So why is it important that we name it to get you edge back? Is because we can't give something to somebody that they never had. We're going to help you get it back. I think it's the easier way to find the edge is to be around men and women that have the edge.
I'm glad that you're doing that one, but I'm really excited. Like your 7 days is going to be amazing. And I see so many people already, like I see them, like they want the invitation and all this stuff. That's great. You're going to get your edge back. But once you have your edge back, I think like, that's something that came out of all this that both you are doing and that what I did is really seeing how once you have your relationship in order, once your household in order, right? Like everything else starts to flow and God just blesses you and abundantly when everything, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're not here saying that we are perfect. We're far from perfection. We're working progress. Raul always says that, like we're working on each other. We're working on our marriage. And I am so excited because out of all this, like we got to thinking, and also because of my coaching clients, like they want to do something that's for relationships. So in the future, after we're done with these challenges, we're going to do a challenge that's for couples.
The Power Couple Challenge. We're still thinking about the name, but it's going to be a Power Couple Challenge.
It has to be something sexy. So if you could think of something for us, like, just put it on the comments. But we want to do a challenge that we invite couples to come and to learn and to be with us. And I'm really excited about that idea, like just having conversations with couples and how do we take them to the next level? How do we share our love and our insight, all our resources to take them to the next level, to take them from, if you're good, you could go to great. If you're great, you could go to like amazing. If you're amazing, you could be like abundant. And it just goes on and on. Like I feel like there's not a limit on your relationships, or it could be. So I'm really excited about that.
That's the key secret. I talked to another client that comes to my mind today.
So let us know. Let us know.
Is that he said, Raul, I'm starting a business, and my wife came to me. She goes, I want to support you. I trust you. Like I'm willing even just to live off one salary until you get your business off the ground.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
I said, you can't discount what she's saying, because for women, certainty is the number one priority. And if she's saying she's trusting you to go out there and try to figure things out in your business,
give you that peace of
and
mind.
giving you that peace of mind,
Yeah.
that just means that she believes in you.
Yeah.
And that you harness that. That has to be your drive in order for you to make your business grow.
Yes.
Because she could say, hey, I don't believe in you.
She's believing in you.
I don't think you can make it, and that would just deflate his entire belief system.
Yeah.
But I think if the couples get together and they're in the same page, then it's become unstoppable.
I know.
Because the certainty comes from the relationship, from the connection, and that's when everything starts to work.
Yes. And all this, like we've been to so many different events, and you just went to this event, and I thought you were good. I mean, I'm sure he talked a lot about energy and all this great stuff, but at the end, like it always comes back to like what's happening at home.
Yep.
That's what, God, money, and purpose. And for us, it's like, God will bless you with money and abundance, and your purpose will be almost like it will come out, it will be seen, it will be shown to you. But if we have those things like in order, and I think a lot of the time we forget. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So get done with your 7 days so we can start something.
So you finish your 6-day challenge with 7 days, and then maybe we'll do a 5-day couples challenge.
I finished my 6th day. I finished my
you have another one too coming up.
Day. I'm starting my coaching program, which I'm really excited about. We're starting a 30-day guided journey, which, if you're listening to this and you are interested in something, in information, just we'll put our link below, but it's Ignite Your Passion daily. So
I'll tell you, you have such a gift when it comes to holding the space for women, because I was there a little bit to kind of get you started on the Zoom calls.
Yeah.
But and the technology didn't work the first couple of minutes.
The technology's always
like the Zoom was messed up, but you held it together. Like I didn't see you sweat one time. I didn't see you
I was not sweating.
So that's kind of like an advanced way, because I see people who are speakers and trainers. If things don't go their way, they lose their shit and then they forget everything. But you just were flawless. You just transitioned into like the next thing and the next thing. So I just wanted to give you that,
thank you,
that feedback.
Thank you, baby. I'm ready for the next.
So that's it. So that's the update for this week.
That's what we've been doing. It's not that we haven't, wanted to come here, but I think just, if you're listening to this, just know that relationships are hard work. Relationships are, just sometimes they're frustrating, but I feel like the more that you work on it, the more that you really dedicate some time, money, and energy into your relationship, that you will start things to see flourish. You will start to see things change. And when that starts to change, like everything starts to change.
And it's just the intention you put behind it, the effort, the intention, the awareness. Just like I tell my guys, put in the fucking work. Put in the fucking work. And get the feedback, adapt, adjust, and execute.
Yeah.
And make it happen.
And one of the things that I would say, just like for you, one takeaway, because I think that's something that we want to start doing, is like give you simple things that you could do to actually implement into your life. And for us has been date night. And even though we do this podcast on Thursdays, we religiously have our date night. And I think it's so cute how like everybody knows in our family that it's like date night. So they don't call us. They're not looking for us. Even our kids, like, they're just, I don't know. It's just so beautiful when you implement those things into your life. So if you don't have date night, it's just dedicating some time, allocating the time in your schedule, making yourself as a marriage a priority. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be dinner. Start with time. Start with, maybe just holding hands and going for a walk.
Start
down
having
the street.
Communication. Just start opening up the channels of communication. Sometimes we just go 100 miles an hour. We're not talking to each other.
So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. If you're listening to this, like just challenge yourself to have a date night. Start somewhere. So I would love to hear, what you're doing for date night. Maybe it could even be ideas for us, or we could give you some ideas. Just what is date night looking like for you? And if you're, challenge yourself to go to that. So yes.
Beautiful. That's it. So listening to Vivian and I on this podcast, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, let us know questions that you have for us. Sign up for our 30-day journey.
Yes,
sign up for my 7-day challenge coming up in 10 days. And we'll see you next time. Learn
Yes.
it,
Live it, experience it. Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take them to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.